You ever get fined for something stupid on your own driveway? I mean, not like forgetting to mow or leaving the trash cans out, but for blocking a golf cart. Yeah, that's where my story starts. My name's Brandon Miller. I'm 39, a paramedic live just outside Tampa, and for a while, life was pretty regular until Sharon Kingsley took over the HOA. Picture this bleach blonde neon tennis clothes, always looking like she's late for a country club commercial, riding her bubblegum pink golf cart up and down the street like she's got a badge and a radar gun barking orders to anyone who dared step out of line or, God forbid, breathed wrong near her bylaws. So last Thursday, after pulling a double shift, I'd barely parked my truck when knock knock. Didn't even get my key out of the ignition before Sharon was standing there, arms crossed, ready to write me up. "You're obstructing the HOA thoroughfare," she snaps. I glance at her golf cart, which is parked diagonally across the sidewalk like she's staking out a crime scene. "You parked too close to the corner. I couldn't get my cart through. That's a violation of Section 8, Paragraph 12, blocking community mobility devices." I just looked at her, still in my uniform, and said, "Your cart's not a mobility device, Sharon, and this is my driveway." She doesn't miss a beat. Pulls out a digital camera. Click takes a picture of my truck, tells me to expect a formal notice and a $65 fine. I laughed, which, trust me, was a mistake. She turned so red I thought she might combust. Next day, there's a notice taped to my door, second notice in big red letters, even though it's the first one. She'd even emailed the whole HOA, making it sound like I was the world's worst neighbor. So I did what any sleep-deprived guy would do. I filed an appeal. Of course, it was denied. Guess who chaired the appeal committee? Right, Sharon. She even slapped me with another fine for inappropriate conduct during HOA interaction. That's when I decided I wasn't just going to take it. I dug up the neighborhood charter, printed the whole thing out, and started highlighting every line about property boundaries and vehicles. Guess what? There's no mention of golf carts or designated cart paths, not in the whole damn thing. She made it up. Then I requested the HOA's financial records, which by law they have to hand over in 30 days. Sharon refused, saying it was private information. Strike two. Now let me back up a sec. I've got a buddy from college, Trent, real estate attorney. I call him Lay It All Out. He listens, then says, "Brandon, she's breaking state statutes. You have a case." So I filed suit, not just against the HOA, but against Sharon personally for abuse of position, refusing to disclose records and making up fines out of thin air. They laughed it off until the court summons showed up. The day she got served, Sharon went on a one-woman PR campaign going door to door telling everyone I was trying to undermine community order, that she was the last line of defense against chaos and rogue parkers like me. She painted herself as some kind of superhero of symmetry. But the real fireworks happened in court. Trent filed everything: unauthorized fines, the refusal to release records, even photos showing my truck wasn't blocking anything. The judge didn't throw it out. In fact, he green-lit discovery. That's when things started to fall apart for Sharon. Trent subpoenaed the financials. What we got back was a gold mine. Turns out, over the past 18 months, the HOA had paid nearly $10 grand to a landscaping company called Bayview Outdoor Services. Only problem, that company had been dissolved for 2 years and the address was Sharon's cousin's house. We laid it out in court. Sharon's lawyer tried to brush it off as an oversight, but the judge just stared him down and said no HOA disperses thousands in fake expenses by accident. After that, I installed cameras. One over my garage, one pointed at the sidewalk. Not because I was scared, but because Sharon started dropping hints to neighbors like some people might regret stirring the pot and accidents happen to trucks left out at night. Sure enough, 3 nights later, my camera caught a figure creeping down the driveway, sticking one of those little orange utility flags at the edge of my lawn, trying to stage a code violation. I sent the footage to Trent, who filed it with the county. At the next court date, Sharon didn't even show her lawyer, claimed she was ill, but 3 neighbors saw her out jogging that morning. The judge wasn't having it. He let Trent play the video, then rolled through the phony landscaping payments and the emails where Sharon flat out denied access to the records. The verdict: Sharon had to pay my legal fees, and the HOA was ordered to undergo an audit at their own expense. The audit turned up more skeletons, $2,000 spent on event supplies at a wine shop, and a spa billed to the HOA debit card, which only Sharon had. The audit firm flagged it, sent it straight to the state attorney's office. Within a week, Sharon was charged with misappropriation of funds and falsifying nonprofit records. Suddenly, nobody wanted to be seen with her. Someone taped the audit summary to the HOA bulletin board accountability, scrawled across the top. At the emergency meeting, Sharon tried to play the victim. "These accusations are politically motivated," she said, shaking. Mr. Alvarez, a quiet, retired firefighter, stood up and said, "You served yourself and you made the rest of us pay for it." The board voted to remove her on the spot, unanimous. She tried to object, but the bylaws were finally read by someone other than her, and they were crystal clear. The vice president, Lita, a woman Sharon once threatened with a citation for having a wind chime, escorted her out. After that, things turned around fast. Every improper fine Sharon issued got refunded. My $65 came back with a written apology. Golf carts were banned from sidewalks unless medically necessary. Sharon's pink cart vanished. Trent filed for damages, judge awarded just under $10,000, and it had to come out of Sharon's pocket, no HOA money. Trent even framed the envelope her check came in and gave it to me as a trophy. Just when I thought it was over, a county detective showed up. Turns out the audit had uncovered even more forged vendor invoices, fake signatures, including mine on insurance claims for repairs that never happened. Sharon had collected almost $12,000 in insurance payouts, all by forging neighbors' names, including mine. I gave my statement under oath. The investigator took copies and told me it was going to the U.S. Attorney, federal wire fraud crossing state lines. Then it blew up on the news. Sharon's mugshot, new federal charges. People started coming out with stories she'd blackmailed a single mom, forced donations for fake projects, even threatened to report a neighbor to child services over a plastic playhouse. The new board set up an ethics panel, rotating members so nobody could stay in power too long. A retired CPA took over finance. A school teacher started a neighborhood newsletter. Bill Harkness, a guy with a limp and a construction background, admitted Sharon had forged his signature. Too, he handed over every document he could find. They froze all HOA spending, called in a forensic audit, and a week later, deputies arrested Sharon at home, fraud, embezzlement, forgery, the whole 9 yards. The neighborhood was different after that. Porches got repainted. People started waving at each other again. Families that used to hide out now mingled at block parties. One Saturday, we held a community dinner, no permit, no board approval, just food and folding chairs under the old oaks. Lita sat next to me and said, "Remember when Sharon fined the Thompsons for having a birthday party?" I just laughed. Now, the rule is if 3 or more people are smiling, it's officially encouraged. By the end, Sharon was ordered to sell off her car, her furniture, even her beloved pink golf cart to pay restitution. And she was banned from every HOA board in the state. Residents got refunds. I got compensation for defamation, but that wasn't the real win. The real win was a neighborhood that finally belonged to its people, not a petty tyrant with a grudge and a golf cart. And maybe next time someone thinks about running a place like their own little kingdom, they'll remember what happens when the neighbors fight back, especially if there's a stubborn paramedic with a good lawyer living next door. So tell me, where's the line between keeping order and abusing power? Ever tangled with an HOA? Drop your story in the comments. Let's see whose board was crazier.